Yes. Hi, Aim.
Oh, she's saving us from ourselves.
Are you unmuted yet? There you go.
Can we hear?
I can't hear you yet.
I'm here. I'm here.
There she
Hi.
is.
Okay. So thank God it's you because we're in the most awkward position.
Sitting in a bed.
I'm in her bed in Cincinnati because she had hip surgery 2 weeks ago.
Oh gosh.
It's so much.
Ouch.
And we went to her office this morning and did trainings and Wake Up Wednesday, and she did way too much.
So I just had to prop myself up. So sorry, I wouldn't normally be sitting in this bed.
Well, I wouldn't have even known had you not said anything.
Me? Well, Peggy's worried because she's got like 90 pillows around her. And
Oh my God. It's just
she's like, I need to look good because she's really looks amazing. She's
You haven't
lost all this
seen me.
weight.
I've
She
lost
looks
over
good.
25 pounds since you've seen me.
Well, I kind of noticed you were looking like a little bit of a supermodel on a few of your videos. So,
Thank you, darling. I love you too.
All I know is I'm jealous that you're wearing short sleeves and you're in the sun.
oh yeah. Well, as I say, you gotta. I'll
Oh,
take you out here. Sorry.
you're killing me.
We're in snow in Cincinnati, and I could be in 80-degree weather in Florida.
Look at this.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
gosh. I'm so jealous.
Why did I leave?
What were you thinking?
Did you move or are you in the same house?
I'm in. Well, you came to my new house, didn't you, or did you not?
I came to
The
the like kind of across the street from the other place.
yeah. No,
Oh,
that's the
sure.
same. It's the
Okay,
same place.
I didn't realize you had that backyard.
Are you so close to the beach?
Yeah, it's only about
Few
about a
miles.
five, maybe five, not even 5 minute
No.
drive, but about a 10 minute bike ride. So yeah, no, it's everything's pretty close. Um, in San Clemente, you can't really get far from the beach.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not really. That's so nice.
It's
Yeah.
But the
one.
funny thing is, I just got back from New Zealand, and I was over there for just over a month. It was my third time over there this year, um, and it's just so weird to have weather again, like, to see rain and to, have different things happening, from a weather standpoint. It's like, oh wow, rain, and then it stops, and then there's wind, and then there's this, and oh, I have to put a jacket on. What's going on?
Well, what is New Zealand? I mean, what's the weather like all the time? Is it consistently just
So it depends on where you're at. So I would say, like, I'm from, I would say we spent the longest time in Christchurch, which is in the South Island, and Christchurch is very similar to Salt Lake City.
okay?
So
Yeah.
you'll have nice summers, but they're not really warm. Salt Lake City probably gets a little bit warmer than Christchurch. Um, I recently have spent a lot of time in Queenstown, and Queenstown has beautiful weather because it's got the real true season. So you'll definitely have the cold, and you have the skiing and all the rest of it. It's not like Chicago or Ohio or Michigan cold. I'm leaving for Michigan tomorrow, so I'm definitely thinking, like, I don't even know how my body's going to function with that. But yeah, just the true season. So I love Queenstown weather.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice. I mean, Southern California, of course, weather is lovely, but it does get boring. It's nice to see a bit of rain, you know,
Yeah.
here and
Yeah.
there.
But that I get that. I lived in northern Utah for a couple years. So and it's definitely significantly different than like Michigan and Ohio and like that type of, it's a better sort of.
I've never been to Utah.
Really? Well, you should go there.
I
Well,
think we are in October.
Salt Lake City. They're
Yeah.
having a EXP con in
Yeah.
Salt Lake City and three other countries.
Paris of one of the places
Yeah.
we're going to go, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, New Zealand though. So what's the New Zealand connection for you?
So I spent 20 years there. And so
Wow.
my husband's a Kiwi.
Oh,
He's a New Zealander. So I went over there in 95. and I was over there until we moved over here in 2015.
Okay.
We kind of settled in San Clemente in the beginning of 2016, and that's when I met Peggy,
Yeah.
sort of middle of that year.
Okay.
So we're coming up to our 10-year anniversary, Peggy.
I know. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And so New Zealand, that's I've spent for a long time. I was in New Zealand longer than I was in the U.S. So all my kids were born there.
Oh,
I know
wow.
it, I know it very, very well, probably better than most areas in the U.S.
That's,
And have a huge base of contacts there. So I did real estate for about 15 years there before I moved
oh my God.
here, and then I owned two brokerages over there, and
Wow.
yeah.
I told you
Well,
that
you didn't give me that many
because
details.
I
Like,
wanted
that's
to see the
amazing.
expression on your face when you found out what
That's
she's really
really
all about.
impressive. And honestly, that's something that, international. I mean, have you talked
Oh,
with
no,
Global or
I
anything
have
about that?
no.
Okay, because that's
Yeah, so when
it.
I was back there, a good friend of mine, a very, very good friend of mine who I used to actually, we worked in the same company, but he is now with EXP, which I was very surprised to see.
Mhm.
I hadn't followed that he went there. His name is Dave Finley, and he works out of Christchurch. So a couple of months ago, I just had a gathering, kind of a party at a bar, because it's so hard for me to get around and see everybody that I need to see. So I'm just like, oh, okay, everybody meet me there. And I had about 60 people come to this bar. And he was one of them. And so I was just like, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. And we just, we really didn't connect. We service level connecting. He's really, really happy, but I can see that EXP New Zealand it's been opened up, but it hasn't really opened up, if
Okay,
you will.
I see.
They need you.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Amy, I see this as a much bigger role. And of course, that's not my position to place someone in that role, but we can surely get you in touch,
Yeah,
guaranteed get you in touch with the people that need to know who you are and your background.
that's true. But I'm going to say this
Go
about
ahead.
it. In learning, as I've learned so much, through this launch of like Turkey and what they're going through. And obviously Turkey's a gigantic country and it's, got its own set of challenges. But initially, the country leader there is, I sponsored him and met him through a client in Cincinnati, a Turkish guy who worked for GE, and he connected me, and it turned out that who you will meet, I will introduce you to him because he's be a fabulous connect, for you guys to connect because I think he's really doing a great job. I will tell you, it's a lot to launch a country and how, maybe EXP New Zealand, there's a struggle, right? That
Mhm.
happens when it's launched. I know that Yeet's looking forward to the time that he's not country leader.
Right.
And initially, when we talked to Gene was saying to him, he's like, I know you really want to do that, but you can do a lot more if you're in another sort of this position of just attraction
Okay.
and
Yeah.
really creating a foundation without having to be doing all of that stuff. Like just creating it,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have much more,
That's
your
better.
results are going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be able to spend a lot more time bringing people into your downline. And also just, I think the results that Yeet will have will be amazing. But I can tell you that he sees now like, wow, that might have been better if somebody else launched it. And then because he's an influencer, he's got hundreds of thousands of people and he's really great at social media. And he does a lot of attraction because he knows all the brokers and he does high end, listings over there. So he'll be a great connect, for you.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing with just kind of space and time of so it's interesting to know what your connection with Turkey was. So you obviously sponsored somebody to go and open
Mhm.
that up. Um, you know, I was doing a lot of work with another company in New Zealand this year in terms of training, and I went over and did a keynote earlier in the year because I started my own kind of negotiation coaching company. So really focused on negotiation coaching.
Yeah.
And because that really is my forte as well as auction. So I was doing a lot of work with a company called Tall Poppy, and Tall Poppy it's a smaller company in New Zealand, but when you say like the largest companies in New Zealand still only probably have a couple of thousand agents because they're not huge,
Right.
but
Correct.
they're very influential, and they're very like New Zealand agents are high quality agents. You don't have many part-timers in the business in New Zealand. So you don't the market's not crowded with deadwood, if you will.
Mhm.
People have to
Yeah.
get in and they
Yeah.
have to do the business. So with that being said, Tall Poppy was talking to me a lot about, even at one stage moving into a role of potential CEO of Tall Poppy New Zealand. And so I was kind of entertaining that, a little bit with regards to, hey, because they're virtual as well, and they have a very good technology package for their agents, and they do operate differently than your standard agencies over there. And so I was just kind of getting into the fold, and I think I met with them probably 6 or 7 times about that role and
Mhm.
getting down to the fact that they were saying, hey, look, we want you to take this on. But I was talking to board members, and then I got this kind of stop at the beginning of November, stop email of the CEO, which is he's going through his own stuff right now. He's kind of going through a bit of a midlife crisis. But he just said, we kind of want to go into a different direction. So thank you for all you've done.
Mm.
And that's it. Now, I actually wasn't even totally 100% convinced that I wanted to take on the role anyways. But what it did was it kind of got me thinking about the fact of exactly what you were just saying about like EXP in terms of where it's at. It's like it's already opened up,
Right.
Mm.
and there's kind of a few people in each region,
Right.
and and but I know a lot of people in all regions of New Zealand, and so I also just I've done training 3 times over there this year, and so my thing would be if I were to and I am going to be, coming to EXP. But if I were to work with EXP in New Zealand, it would be more in hey, I'm doing this as far as I'd like to train within the group, but then I'd also like to sell. So,
Hmm.
and kind of keep my fingers in there because eventually, I'd say whether it be, you know, 4 to 6 years from now, I would say that I would want to be at least by the end of my 50s, and I've just entered my 50s. By the end of my 50s, I could see that I'd be back in New Zealand full time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's more about this kind of building into, and I think because I was a fairly high performer in Harcourts and a high performer in Ray White, and I owned Ray Whites, 2 Ray Whites in Christchurch. People know who I am,
Yeah.
and so if I do join a company and I promote that I've joined that company, it's a great attraction tool.
It's
That's
huge.
that's really what I think. I
Yeah.
mean, you're an influencer and you're already influential. It's I
And
think that
Peggy and I talked about this 5 years ago,
yeah.
but it wasn't the right time from a family perspective as well for me to be doing as much traveling as I've done this year. Um, and we only have really one full-time child at home now. Our other 2 have gone through college and are, adults.
Hmm.
Um, so, I have to be very conscious of that as well. But that's kind of in I guess New Zealand is a percentage of my consideration, but my bigger consideration is really exploring how I can, jump in and go hard with sales on the ground here in Orange County, but
Mhm.
then also being able to do the training, because I love to do the training as well from a negotiation perspective and even auction perspective through the group domestically
Mhm.
in the US. Um, and so I just wanted to potentially talk about that as well.
And that's really the fact that I'm glad we
Mhm.
didn't do this 5 years ago, because I don't know if we would have had the support and going through the launch and being the leader. I'm excited that it already has launched. I think what EXP will get behind is that we're bringing on someone who is influential, but doesn't have to lead the company. That
Yeah.
ground is already done.
And I love that. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
I
I love that point of it. I didn't
after
want you to
seeing it
be a
all, like
leader
I
of it.
love that.
I just want you to be the next influential person coming through. And I know that's where EXP and Leo and International will get behind you when they have a conversation with you.
Well, I will tell you just from watching this, so with they've been launching quite a few countries lately, and now with Felix, watching them get their social media up and running because they kind of have just done that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Yeet has become very influential to Glenn, and they're kind of buddies
Oh,
because they present a very good face. So I would follow them on Instagram, EXP Turkey, because they don't have a zillion people yet. They have like 100 people, let's say.
okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
And because it is tough, it's tough to get it launched, but they present a very good cultural like face,
Mm-hmm.
and they have really dynamic events, which you can do. Just take a lot of those types of things because you have your brand and your class, and like that's it's almost the same thing with him having the social media piece because he can teach a lot of that and people
Hmm.
need it, and you can do that with your negotiating course,
Absolutely.
and because you're that's what people are wanting to see. They're wanting to see that
Mm-hmm.
culturally come together, and I could see you doing that just in a small amount of time. I think that's huge having these courses,
I do
and
too. And they're
you know,
proven. She's already taught them
right,
over there, and they've been
right.
received really well.
Just make sure somebody's taking a lot of good pictures of you teaching classes and posting and yeah,
So let's talk about California, because this is also where I
yeah.
wanted to bring Michelle in. She runs a very successful team. She's doing expansion. We're looking at doing Virginia and Florida together. I'm not opposed of building a team with you out in California. I'm going to let you guys jump in on that. What are you looking for?
Yeah.
Well, this is the interesting thing is that in the first right, I guess what I'm looking for is to hit the ground running with um kind of a different way of entering the market with a different message. I've always been a slightly different agent because I can run auctions and I can run um deadline sales, which a lot of, or a deadline auction or, however I want to frame it. And I've done quite a few of those in California, which is basically just kind of a
Mhm.
marketing to a deadline date. And so, in the first few months, I really want to kind of quietly hit the ground. When I say quietly hit the ground running, I do want to quietly hit the ground running and just go real direct to consumer, to the to the clients that are out there. And then
Mhm.
from a team perspective, it would be good to know that there is someone that I could connect with, uh be here within Orange County or San Diego County, that I could just be kind of like, hey, look, if I have a question, or if I'm banging my head up against a wall about something that I'm a little bit green on, or whatever, do you mind if I give you a call, or
Yeah.
can we share some,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
in exchange I will help you with negotiation, or I will help you with something else. So I'd like to be able to have that exchange with someone here locally. And then you know if there's opportunity to, I do believe that I probably will become an agent of a attraction. I didn't it wasn't hard for me to build. I opened the offices from, I didn't take over an office. I basically opened the doors to my office and
Hmm.
had to, attract agents in. Um, so that part, I am not afraid of.
Yeah.
But in the first right, I think it's about me getting back in and getting some runs on the board, and whilst also looking at and seeing whether there's opportunities to be able to very quickly coach and train potentially in December and well, not December, but yes, December if there is that opportunity, but definitely January within the group, even if that's flying somewhere and saying, "Hey, look, I'd like to train while I'm waiting to get my license reinstated." So my license is expired right now in mid-June 24. And so I think I just have to do the CE courses and then it just kind of strikes up again.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So I have a my company is pro level negotiation.com, and I do a certification. So I do it like a basically a wake up your senses to negotiation and the conversation around negotiation and what you should be doing and thinking about with that. So that's called Level Up. And then I also have a certification. So that's kind of 6 modules of really going into deep layers of negotiation training. And so when people complete that, then they become certified negotiation specialists. So then they can actually market themselves as a negotiation specialist, which gives them a point of difference in the market. And I've just really launched that this year. And then the next step is 6 months after that, that you would go into mastery and then you'd go into elite. And with the mastery and elite, I want to bring in other like top agents as a bit of a mastermind in and around specifically negotiation, because that is all we've got really left outside of AI and of course networking and relationship building and all that kind of stuff. But with regards to really, honing in on the negotiation piece, I think is important. So
I mean, I think I love it. I mean, I'm taking all sorts of
I know
notes.
you
I've
are.
got like, about a couple pages going here of notes, but I definitely think that there's a lot that you can do with that. I mean,
Hmm.
and so I recently partnered with, her name's Monica Weekly, and Peggy knows her really well. And she's actually on the board of directors of EXP currently. She is a fantastic human. You'll really like her a lot. And so we have a whole philosophy around, helping agents grow and learning and training and all of that. And I think things like this are really things important. So it really hits me like, very specifically like negotiating. Like,
Hmm.
when do people really get to train on like being like good negotiators? Because that's so
we
huge.
never have. I did a
And that,
speaking event, and I was in front of
yeah,
250 people, and which doesn't seem a lot in the throes of how many agents are in EXP. But you've got a room of 250 agents, and I just asked, I said, has anybody ever taken a negotiation course for real estate?
right.
Hmm.
And there was one person that raised their hand. Nobody trains in it. And, yeah, you can have Chris Voss and, a few of the other,
Mhm.
never split the difference and whatnot, but they don't do specifically real estate. And he wasn't in real estate for a very long time. So um essentially I kind of studied outside of real estate and I've studied inside real estate because I was the auction director for Harcourts for 3 years. I did thousands of negotiations in a very short span of time across Southern California. And even though I hadn't actually worked in Southern California ever in real estate, it translated even, with how good I was at auction in in New Zealand. And people continued to ask me when I came out of being the director of auctions, because I started helping other people with their negotiations. They're like, why don't you train in this? I would take a course. I would do this. I would do that. So that's why I had to kind of reverse engineer what I do and why I'm good at it.
Hmm.
There's other things that I'm not good at, like,
Yeah.
and so, but this is my strength. And so I really kind of there, I'm still working on a lot of things. It's a living course. So it has to completely evolve all the time, especially with AI and whatnot. I also designed a GPT in Chat GPT. So there is a pro level negotiation GPT that I have not launched yet. I've been very careful about holding it close to my chest.
Yeah.
And essentially, that is designed to create a negotiation plan, which everybody goes in with a marketing plan and prospecting plan and, all these different things for,
Exactly.
but nobody has a negotiation plan. And so there's a specific way that you can go in, put the information in there for your specific property and the people that you're dealing with, enter the information, and it's taken all of the information that I've put in there from my courses and from my book, which is almost done. I put all the information in there and it creates a negotiation plan. So um if you
Wow.
guys have 2 minutes, I'll just open it up and show it
Yeah,
to you real quick, just so you.
absolutely. I mean, Nick Krim, get her in with Phil Stringer, get her in with so many people.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the stuff that people would just like jump at
Hmm.
to have. Like, I mean, that's how Phil Stringer got started. I mean, it was that easy and
Right.
just something they needed. Yeah.
Now, can you guys see my screen? Me
Yeah.
moving around a screen there. It says Zoom right now. Well, now it says Google. Can you
Yeah,
see
we
that?
can
Hmm.
see it.
Okay. So you can see this says Pro Level Negotiation
Hmm.
AI.
Hmm.
So there you can prompt it to do some general ones, but this is an example of a seller negotiation plan that I had put in there for a property. This is sample property. So actually I'll do this one. So there's a seller facing negotiation plan and there's an agent facing negotiation plan, right? Because we want the sellers to know that we're paying attention to all different aspects of the market and what the demographics are and what the types of resistance that we might come up against with their property and different things. But there there is also the agent facing negotiation plan that is specific to the sellers or the clients that we're dealing with, and
Hmm.
also the buyers. So our agent facing negotiation plan is something that we would only just have for our file. And this is, some things that we would pay attention to. So it will give a market overview, a seller positioning summary, a buyer demographics focus, buyer behavioral patterns, pricing strategy, all these different things. And so effectively, I've been working all year on all of the information and content to put in to the AI so that when people go in and um, put the information in so the brief, I'll just show you what a brief kind of looks like. It's like a set of uh, 15 questions. So this is a sample questionnaire here. So this is just the results of the questionnaire. Okay. So if I were to, now it's going to be obviously a little bit more streamlined than this, and it's just in development phase, right? Um, so if these are my answers to that, then I go into my GPT and I can go create a an agent facing negotiation plan for this property. And I put in the answers to those questions. And now at the top of the seller questionnaire should also have the address and the people and different things. But how they actually answer this is obviously does matter. So you'll do the questionnaire actually has a prompt of, what the people are like, what their age is, all that kind of stuff, and also the property and the address. Okay. So if I put in the answers to those questions, it will probably just kind of give me a general, so this is agent negotiation plan, objective, market overview. It doesn't really know that yet because I haven't put the address in there. But you can see all the different areas that of information that it will give you. The reason why, I guess let me just stop share here. The important aspect of this is that I I I don't necessarily want people to have it until they've actually gone through the negotiation training,
Hmm.
because then they just fall back on this and it's just lazy, right?
Hmm.
So I still need to actually work through, and I haven't launched that as of yet, but I want people to know that once they actually go through the negotiation training, that they will have access to this, and then that might be a subscription model, because it's constantly being, updated and whatnot. So
Hmm.
um, hasn't been easy, with all of this. It's taken a lot of time and money and stepping back from other things and gaps and whatnot. But I will say that I've had, I've put probably maybe 100 people through the certification in New Zealand,
Hmm.
and I've had very, very good reviews. Um, but I will also say that my preference is that that training is actually done in person as opposed to online. Um, but it's not to say that it can't be done online. I just have to kind of master that. I think the online training um, may need to be just a recorded training and let it go, because and let people work through at their own pace, because what I found was when I try to do an online group just recently, is if somebody doesn't show up, then the group situation changes, and then like it's very hard to
Hmm.
get people to pin people down, really. So whereas if you're doing a certification in person, then you just go there and you get it done and you knock it out of the park, right? So
Right.
yeah.
I think what I see you doing, this is what I'm working on now, is I'm creating my own person. I'm cloning myself and taking all my courses, and people aren't even going to know that it's not me. And
Mm,
it that's GoGo's doing it. I mean, so many people are doing this now at a high level because you can't travel everywhere. And
no.
I do like some of the group coaching, but when you're doing a certification program like what you want to do, I think
Mm,
we get you in the fact where they're not even going to know it's not you.
yeah.
It's exactly you, and it's doing all the work for you. You just feed it the information, it creates the course. Um,
I mean, are you using any like school or any of those,
yeah,
uh,
that's what
you know?
you would.
I have used school before, but not for me. And I did actually sign up to it to start to develop it, but my niece passed away a few weeks ago, and so it's kind of rocked a few things. Just kind of stopped a little bit of progress
Hmm.
there. Um, so I'm not opposed to it. Like I said, I would love to be able to work with, you guys are on the ground.
Hmm. Yeah.
You guys have been working with people. It's a combination of everything, and I'm trying to put my plan together. And I believe that my plan is going to consist of podcast.
Yeah.
Not that that's in no particular order, but the course, the certification. When I talk about, like whetting the appetite of people like that, level up, that is the thing that is really good in person, is just go there and just wake people up in terms
Yes.
of why are you not focused in on negotiation, and then they sell them into the course. and the certification. And then once they get through to the certification, then they will have the AI model. So I think that workflow, for lack of a better word, or that flow is kind of a natural progression.
Sure.
And then having actually the podcast would be really cool to bring people on and talk to EXP agents. The cool thing, and I guess why I made a decision about EXP, other than the mosquito called Peggy that's been in my ear for more than a few years.
Just, you know,
Oh, that's funny.
uh, is the fact that my ear thing fell out. Hold on. Is that it gives instant access to a wide base, and then it also gives me instant support and training in other areas that I'm quite impatient. I don't need to go to, offices to listen to a manager talk about,
yeah.
Yeah,
selling
right,
when he's never sold himself or whatever,
right.
so I there's a few reasons why there was kind of an aha moment, for me, is that I definitely need to have the arm from a financial perspective to get out there, and also to be doing it. And I we're entering into a market which I really do believe is going to require my skill set. Um,
100%.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
have actually done, uh, the I've been the negotiation specialist on properties in Arizona and Texas as well, where people could not get properties across the line. They had been on the market for a year or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I come in and I'm just the negotiation specialist, and I'm able to get it across the line for the agent. Just, putting together a different strategy and whatnot. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
these are all things that I think it's now time to be like, okay, this is Amy 2.0. Let's get it done. Get her
Yeah.
done.
I I think, we just did a little, I mean, a very small analysis for, we have an agent that she is out of Chino, California,
Yeah, it's not too far from me.
which is not, yeah, not too far. And uh, Sharon, Monica's wife,
Yeah.
the person that, I was talking to you about, who's on the board. So she and I were doing a little roundabout survey of, like, what properties had been on the market for, how long they'd been on the market. I mean, it's, as you well know, they're stacking up and things are
Mm-hmm.
going that direction. So I feel like, because we've been helping Dana, her name's Dana, out with, like, working expired listings and things like that. And to me, what I love about this is there's this next step. There's this Amy that's over
Yeah.
here that could be positioned really in a great way to, like, help
Mm-hmm.
everyone, because no one understands what to do next.
No.
Like,
Yeah,
all of, that's really where everyone gets stuck, and we're going to have so much of that. And
yeah,
don't have a lot of people who have a real vast experience level like you do, you know, with auctions and, like, the negotiation, like the next step. What do
Mm-hmm.
you do?
What do you do?
I love that, like, so much, because I really feel that we're going into that
yeah.
time frame from Florida, California,
Yeah.
everywhere.
This is my big problem to solve with
Hmm.
all of this, though. And
Hmm.
Peggy knows this, is that I have I have helped so many people at my own expense for so
Hmm.
many years. And
Yeah. We.
I don't intend to, um, I just don't want to be left behind financially
Hmm.
by helping others. So I need to actually be able to structure something to where it's a win-win situation for myself and for the agents. Um,
Hmm.
and that, obviously through the development of this course and through, a couple of doors shutting, which is good. They
Yeah.
they say what is it? Rejection is God's protection or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Or the universe's protection or whatever.
Yep.
Um, and so then when I've kind of stepped back and thought, okay, wow, if I really structured the perfect scenario, what would that look like?
Mhm.
Then it it was like I need to get back out there and do it and prove it. Um, and you're right that there are a lot of properties that are going to be stacking up with that have been on the market for a long time. Um, when I was the auction director, I dealt with a lot of properties that had, they were expired or they couldn't be sold under other agents, so they came in and they did auction with Harcourts. So I was doing anywhere from 15 to 25 auctions a month. And in in that time or space um, of those auctions, I would run them on a specific day every single month. So I would run them to the month, and um, we did it to a live auction, but it doesn't actually need to be to a live auction. It just needs to be to
Hmm.
a it just needs to be to a date. And so I would train the agents as I was doing it, but I was also a lot of times dealing with the sellers and the buyer's agents and the selling agents of every single one of those properties. Um, and and then at the other end of it, I was just paid a salary and maybe a small bonus on every auction. So it was okay, but I would have to figure out how I structure it to where it's it's worth it to me. I can very efficiently train, um, and and we can start, helping agents, and I can also, obviously make sure that I sell myself and be able to work in the most effective, the most effective way possible, really.
No, oh my gosh, my phone is like ringing up there.
That's okay.
Um, I have a closing that's happening too, so I would shut it off, but
No, I
in
saw
case
Tom called. I didn't
she
know if you
did, and
needed
I
to
know I
answer
needed
that.
to check on that. But this has me really
Um,
intrigued, I must say, because what I, what I, we talked a lot today was it's the experience, for the
Hmm.
clients, and how, agents are conducting themselves to, to keep business. It's what did you give them the whole experience? So let's just imagine, we're going into this market and like we are now seeing all these expired listings that are coming on. Some of them are going to sell, but some of them are really not going to sell.
Right.
Like things are
mm,
changing to the point, well, if I had, so if this were me and I
mhm.
really, my niche, one of my things is I love listings. Okay. I am a big listing
Right.
and I really, we do a lot for our clients as terms of listings. And I want to really educate them. For example, I have a 2.5 million dollar listing right now that I just don't honestly see it selling. I've got a $5 million one. I don't think he's going to sell it.
Hmm.
These two properties, what would be great is if I had a person I was in a partnership with,
Mhm.
that I was able to, like yourself, that had, a plan.
Yep.
I went into this and was, in the hopes that yes, perhaps I could take these listings, but I don't know if that can happen. I want
Mhm.
to protect my client by saying I have plan A and B and C. Here's the
Mhm.
plan, but I work with someone who's absolutely like outstanding and they have this package. I want you to be able to have a next step analysis
Yeah.
with somebody. And there's already a set, pricing.
Hmm.
You've trained
Right.
what to say to that, but that's in my back pocket. And what if it were in a lot of people's back pockets? That would,
Yeah. So I'll let you know how I worked with, for example, this ranch in
okay.
Texas that was on for a long time, a long time. And the agent had done everything. She had done the
Okay.
video, the marketing, the this,
Yeah.
that, and I mean, she had spent a huge amount of money on marketing the property, and she's a fantastic agent as well, I will say. Um, And so I was actually able to come in. She flew me out to look at the ranch as well. And I was able to meet with the seller. And effectively, it was like nothing that Rachel was doing was wrong, but
Hmm.
sometimes some properties require another layer of almost mediation. We'll call it
Hmm.
negotiation, but like it's
Hmm.
a mediation type
Hmm.
situation so that we can actually understand how to get to the best result possible.
Yeah.
And so what we did was, helped her understand that. Now, she had signed her client up at, I don't know, might have been, well, it was six, that at that stage, it was before the NAR thing. So I think she was offering 3% either side. So she had originally signed up at 6%. Um, but so essentially then she had organized that it was a 2% BAC, buyer compensation, a 1% to me, and then she kept 3%. At the end, because of all I had done, she actually turned it into two, two, and two.
Hmm.
And which I obviously, it was kind of her and respected and whatnot. Um, but with regards to the amount of, I guess, when you're in true like negotiation and the timing and the anchors and everything are so important, you're like, completely engaged. And, with a lot of these properties, I know that they would not have gotten over the line had I not come in. I don't know how to value that. I don't know if that's a 50-50 split. I don't know if it's a 1%. I don't, you know, but I do know that if, in the bigger picture, if it takes me out of doing what can earn me good money, um, I just need to be very aware of that. So I guess I'm just being open
Sure.
with regards to some of the challenges I've had in the past is that
Hmm.
I'm attached to this one, this one, this one. And then I've actually um, I had kind of an agent that I was partnered with. Peggy knows this. And she was taking 50% of what I was getting. So then I'm just kind of like, so now I'm getting 50%
Yeah.
of doing the whole job. And I don't need her anymore. I wouldn't bring her into the fold anyways. Um, because everything that I can do through AI from an administrative point of view, from my perspective.
Hmm.
So, um, if that's something of interest to you, it's a conversation further to be had. But I also know that if there's a couple of properties, for example, that you wanted to give me an example or like the addresses of those properties, I can show and I can give you um a typically what we would do now as with this AI is that we would go back in and I would say, can you please complete this seller questionnaire? If you're like your new listing, as part of our new listing package, we want to create a negotiation plan. And I'd like you to create, to complete this questionnaire. And it's a simple, like 5 minute completion of the questionnaire. We put that information in, it will pop out our plan. Now, what I would like to do for you is that, and I'm no longer scripting this, I'm just saying for you actually,
Oh.
um, is that if you take this questionnaire, and I'll give you some instruction on email if you want.
Hmm.
You take the questionnaire and you just answer it as if you're the seller,
Yeah. Hmm.
just an example, and it
Hmm.
will give you an example of what a negotiation plan will look like for that property, right? Um, so at least
I
or you
am
can,
like, you got me like
I
my
know
my
her.
my wheels are like
Yeah.
spinning because go with me on this for 1 second. Like just
right.
th- like what you have, I feel like is just a tiny pot of gold on the end of this because I'm even a little bigger pot of gold than that. But if if I'm training 30 agents, right? And
Hmm.
we're going after these expired listings, and that's one of the things that we do. There's multiple listings though
Hmm.
out there, and we're building out expansion teams.
Hmm.
Okay. like with you or whomever it is. And I am teaching because my whole piece is coaching listings, teaching
Right.
how to do great listings,
Hmm.
how to give that whole experience. And then I tie into something like this that we also are giving to all of these people, all of these hundreds of agents that we're bringing in, right?
Hmm.
That we already have. There's a piece of revenue. There's,
Hmm.
income that's now coming
Hmm.
in. I do see that as potentially, and that's where, hey, it's definitely something you could figure out how to make that an add-on, because if it doesn't sell, then you have to bring in this person. Okay, now this does become a shared listing,
Hmm.
with that. And I think that's a lot of extra income, that could happen. And then once you've gotten a bunch of that going, now the real attraction starts where you can really gain agent
Hmm.
share, because we can attract people by saying no one's going to beat the listing
Right.
presentations that we have, because we have this along with this negotiation expert piece
Hmm.
course that you take. And like there's a this is one of the smartest things that I've heard that I didn't expect in a very long time. And
I love that.
I am just literally like, I love this so much. Like,
Oh,
it's the huge nugget.
I
Like,
see.
I,
And this is
yeah.
why I love co-sponsor, because
oh,
we get to reach out to the people, the other people that we want to be in business with, and we all get to help each other and bring in more than just, I mean, when you called, it was just barely going to be, not barely, basically going to be me. And I'm like, no, I'm in this whole thought process of I don't have to do it alone anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
that's
I'm
cool.
looking
Yeah.
to align myself with some of the top people in the company. And I have a lot of people coming at me. She knows I've got someone now who wants to, begging me to be a co sponsor with them. And it's just not, for me, it's not the right mix. They
Right.
need me more than I need them. I'm looking to be in business with people like yourself, with like Michelle, where we can all figure out together how are we going to make this work for the good of us, for the good of the agents, the good of the consumer, and also the good of our bank accounts.
Well, I mean, because at the end of the day, yeah, we want to help people. Don't get me wrong. I mean, when you said that to me, I'm all about, you have to do something for yourself and for your family.
Right.
It's like time goes by. Yes, we want to pour into others, but we also have to make sure that our families are taken care of. And that's where EXP, though, I think is just such a great company for that, because now we don't have borders.
And we can go
We can,
anywhere.
if it's
Yeah.
New Zealand, it's Turkey. I've got an agent on our group now that's in Portugal who wants to also do, she's an attorney. She does a lot of, she would love this because she's trying to attract in, Portugal. This is such a play that it can go anywhere.
I think so too. It can translate into any
Yeah.
sales skill
Yeah.
in any country.
That's the big piece is that so what my focus was in October was really I turned my focus into I need to do a capital raise to help me
Mhm.
continue the development of it. And I just started that. I had just started that. And then my niece passed away. And so it was kind of like
Mm.
and but I think I still need to do that. I still need to have, a couple of people behind me that can help me kind of do invest in that so that I can get it off the ground because it does take it takes a lot of most of the content is there. It's just a matter of actually structuring it out and making sure that it's with the in consumer in mind, which is the agent, but also with the client in mind. But you're right, there is no better recruitment tool, I don't think. Yes, everybody's got AI and all the rest of it, but I think a lot of agents, the feedback that I've had with the agents that I've been coaching this year is that, oh God, it's so nice to actually be talking about just the human experience and the human psychology and we're all, just everybody's tech, 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 tech. And it is correct that we have to be very aware of that, but we still are, some of our biggest um, market out there right now is still the boomers, and they're not all into AI yet.
No, they're
So
not.
we have a window where people are still needing to be, talked to and handheld um
I agree.
and work through. But we also need to use AI so that we actually understand and we can do it quickly, right?
Correct.
Um, and then so I, with regards to the training, having a podcast that just kind of connects people, and so people can actually go on there, and that's where people are actually seeing whether or not I'm worth my weight in salt, right? In terms of what I say and whatnot. I haven't launched anything like that yet.
There's
Um,
enough people out there that, like, if you get on my Wake Up Wednesday, if you get on some other people's training that they're doing, I mean, for the past year, I have not gotten paid for
mm,
any of the training that I've done.
mm,
That's a part of the investment that I do in my business. I mean, when I did
mm,
the build at sea, you flip the bill for that yourself, but you're getting in
mm,
front of people. I want to get in front of as many top leaders as I possibly can for people to know who I am. And now it's paying off and it's
hmm,
happening. That's what you have to do, is get in front of people, like be able to speak at the regional rallies, be able to speak at different Zooms, be able to speak at different trainings. I think that's how a lot of people, that's how Phil and everybody, Phil's become a multimillionaire in the past 3 years just by going out and talking and training. And now he's got these AI classes that people are paying thousands of dollars for. But he
mm,
gives stuff for free away all the time. And then he does a buy at the end of his class.
I mean,
yeah,
I think what you have can is far reaching over all of those things, though. You have things that are saleable,
She
but
does.
but you have things that are where you can partner with all these people. It's going to attract people. I mean,
She just needs to we need
it's
to
just
get you in
getting it
front of the people
right.
real quick. And travel is expensive. And I think just getting you out there and talking to people and doing some Zooms, I don't see why people wouldn't.
Well, look how excited I am. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know if
she doesn't
that's,
get excited like this.
I mean, I think I think it's timely as well. I mean, the timing
yeah,
of this is really good.
Do you have
yeah.
testimonials and everything?
Yeah,
Do you
I
have a
do. I mean,
website? Excuse
there's
me.
a
Yeah, go ahead.
there's a few even on my Instagram, that
Okay.
of people that I've worked with, because there's probably, six or seven agents in New Zealand that have uh couldn't get something over the line, or even a deal that was had already fallen apart, that we got back together.
So, how did
Um,
the Texas deal?
what, sorry?
How did you close that Texas deal? Was it
Um,
timing? What did you bring in? I've never asked you a question like that to find out how you did it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was so we did do a deadline. So with that deadline, you basically, put in a starting price as opposed to an actual price.
Okay.
So that is a different, um, it lowers the price from the beginning. So you open the field up for negotiation for sure. And then it was hugely about understanding, putting timing and conversation anchors in with the seller every single week, twice a week, to really educate them to the market as to what is happening, and very specific ways of talking to the seller to make them actually understand um, the the ramifications of not actually accepting the market this time.
Okay.
Also, we went a step further and even, pulled some data, which some agents do, but it's all in how you use it.
Right.
Pulled some general data in terms of area specific data as to, in that area, ranches, had appreciated by say 27% over the course, on average 27% over the course of 3 to 4 years. Yet she, from the time that she purchased it to the time that, what she was wanting for the property, it was like a 60 or 70% appreciation that she wanted. So
Wow.
then it's a matter of actually scripting out and being on the conversation of me saying, like I said to the agent, when, your seller's not going to like me by the end of this, but you need to be on
Mhm.
side with them. Once they really don't like me, that we're very close to getting a deal together. And essentially, it just came down to, I just need to know why your property in particular um, would justify a 60 to 70%
Increase.
increase,
Yeah.
yet everything else in the market's only 27%. And even this
Mhm.
property that is in better shape and da da
Yep.
da 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 da. Now, we can actually pull that data up sometimes, but it's in how you deliver
Right.
that. And then you have to put an anchor around that. So, I talk about anchors as far as timing, price, and conversations. But agents run away from those conversations rather than just looking at them as a tool,
Hmm.
because they think it's a hard conversation. And that also comes with the labeling training that I do. It's like we label people as difficult, we label conversations as difficult. We do all this labeling,
Hmm.
so it keeps us from doing what we should be doing.
Right.
And so around the training of that, and um, going through and doing specific texts and conversations and what all the way through, I would get on the phone with Rachel, who was the selling agent, and I would say, okay, this is how this conversation is going to go. And this is what you're going to say. When I say this, you're going to say this, and you're
Hmm.
going to stick up for your seller. I'd prepare her before we got on the call.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And because you need to be seen as standing up for her price. And then we need to be having this out around this.
Yeah.
So when you no longer make sense, now you're just being
Yeah.
on side with your seller.
Yeah.
But they need to hear that, and they need to know that I'm actually not on their side.
Yeah.
So there's lots of little tricks and tips and everything like that I can do specifically from years and years and years of being
Right.
in kind of
Exactly.
hard, timely negotiations. But the biggest thing is the anchor and the labeling that keeps people from getting there. And in the end, with that one, that was a doozy. And Rachel certainly never, and nobody in town in Van Alstyne, Texas, ever thought that property was going to sell. But we got it
That's
done.
huge.
Yeah.
That's
It
huge.
is. Speaking of
Yeah.
selling property,
Yes.
I hate to say that I have to go. I have to go.
Yeah.
It's not going well.
Oh, the closing is not
The
going
lender
well?
messed the whole thing up. So
Okay.
now that
Oh no.
no,
Yeah, no,
All
no
right.
problem at all. It's been a longer conversation than
no,
we
no,
probably
no. And
planned.
I hate to because I really like this conversation and I want to do more of it
Okay.
because I feel super excited about this because I think that I mean there's just a lot that
Oh,
you can do. I
absolutely.
mean with it, I would love to talk more about it when we.
Well,
So,
maybe if I can suggest something, maybe if you think around the conversation and
Yeah,
and then just come up with a list of questions or whatnot
yeah,
or suggestions as well, is a good one. There's going to be things that pop into your mind after this for sure. Um, but maybe circling back, um,
you're
in the
back
next few
next
days.
week.
What's that?
You're leaving tomorrow and you're back next week.
Yeah, I'm back on the 9th. Um,
Okay.
and
yeah. I'm
yeah,
really sorry about your loss.
Oh, she fought
You
a
know,
long,
and yeah, I'm sorry.
hard.
yeah.
I feel
It's
terrible because I didn't know when you told me today. I don't know why I didn't see that, but
Well, Facebook is a funny thing. It's only going to
yeah.
show you certain things, but and also I've been a little bit quieter over the last month, just trying to deal
yeah.
with it myself, and it's my sister's daughter, so she was only
Oh,
20. So, but
yeah.
you know,
Let's
we'll
get back
we'll
together then.
Yeah, because I think, like I'm gonna, you're right, I'm gonna be processing this, and you know, what I want, and Peggy's amazing, and like, having met Peggy and, partnering on some things. I mean, I just think that, gosh, there's just so many great things going on. And this is
Just one more piece
just
that just showed
like
up, Amy.
that
Literally,
sounds like a really great part of the puzzle for a
yeah.
lot of things that's happening.
Your timing is perfect.
Yeah. And
Can I just ask as well, and maybe I know you have to go,
mhm.
but if I don't feel like I got a complete understanding about your
Yeah,
team
yeah.
and all
Oh,
the rest of it. That's the big piece, and maybe Peggy can fill me in if you need to.
Mhm.
why don't you
Just
do a
curious.
quick, can you do a quick 1 minute about you?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I would be really, yeah, just a quick, and we can talk further about it. I mean, I've been in the business for almost 25 years, and I think we're sort of similar. I have three kids, two all the way out, one kind of, still
Mm,
finishing up college, etc. But I've kind of been around. I started in Northern Virginia, my real estate career, went out west for a couple years, landed in Cincinnati, had to restart my career. So I've had like big teams, small teams. I've always done a pretty big volume, every year for 20, 25
About
years.
60 million.
Yeah, we sell a couple hundred houses, every year. So,
wow.
um, it's been kind of neat. I was at Keller Williams for a while. I was at a smaller brokerage for a while, went to Coldwell Banker for 3 years. So I kind of held back going to EXP because I wasn't ready. I just wasn't sure because it was newer at the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wasn't sure about the cloud brokerage and like the needs that I would have because I'm so picky with my clients and just things like that, I guess. Now, I wish I would have had this 20 years ago. I mean, honestly.
Mm,
And I went from kind of trimming down to a smaller boutique kind of team to going large again for a couple of reasons. One, I love the business. Two, going global has been so fun, for me now, just
mm-hmm.
understanding how that works. And I have a lot of other people in other countries that, I just see things more clearly that like,
Yeah.
the world is big, but it's not that big.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
No.
like, just this conversation and how with the right partners you can tie together so many things with attraction,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of that's why I want my team to be a little larger so that I can go out and do these things with people like yourself and like Peggy, where we can, build on to things that are already great, so that
Yeah.
everybody wins, so that we can figure out
Hmm.
like what does that financial piece look like where are you getting all of your money, and so that all of us are celebrating that together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see with EXP and the collaboration that's been
Absolutely.
going on. So with my team now, we've gone from 5 people to 25 people, in the span of, just a couple of months.
Literally, I was here in April.
Um,
It was a smaller
but
team.
it's really great because I have a lot of partners in like California and other states and different places that are ready to move forward. And we're trying to now put together just a sequence of like systems because
Mm-hmm.
everything is about a system, right? If it's a system, then it's going to work. So in my mind, I can easily now visualize something like this
It's a
being
huge system.
attached to the system
Huge
as part
system.
of what we roll out. And now it's something you can roll out to all these other teams at EXP or whoever. So it's a win for
Hmm.
everyone. Um,
Right.
and I think because just being a sponsor or co-sponsor, that's what's great about co-sponsorship is you can do that, start building on that, little by little.
Hmm.
But then now you have this whole world, to share it with
Mm,
because
mm.
everybody's at one great big cloud brokerage. So I tried to say all that really fast, so I hope that made sense. But
No, it definitely made a lot of sense. For sure.
And
And
she has a massive staging company.
uh,
How
well,
many square feet?
yeah, because we own a staging company, so it's like different streams of, income. Because
Literally,
obviously I'm attached to listings so much that I, decided to put a staging company with it.
like
Yeah.
thousands of square foot warehouse.
So I'm
Next
all
level.
about giving the best experiences to people, but leveraging that out so that, I have partners that they're winning, but I'm
Mhm.
using their services, you know,
Right.
and I think that's what we need to do more of, because not one person, not
Yeah.
everybody can do everything. You can't have all the streams of income. You gotta have
Right.
everybody
Yeah.
All different.
leveraged,
Yeah, the leverage part is key.
right?
So,
So I got to go
all right,
do
she's got to
this.
do this. I will
Yeah.
talk to you.
So nice to meet you. Like, I'm a super fan of this. I really,
Lovely
I,
to meet you. And Peggy, I've got to jump off in four
Yeah.
minutes myself. So
All right. I will talk to you. Call me. She's not getting out of bed. So
I now forgot I was gonna hop up and I
I
can't
know
even.
I saw you to go hop out of bed. You can hop out of bed.
I know.
what a fantastic conversation. I really have appreciated being able to just kind of let you know where I'm at with all of it. And after talking to you guys as well, as I'll be able to I'll have a lot of time over the next couple of days, and I might just actually kind of summarize where I think how I think it could be structured,
Okay.
and where I see some obvious gaps with um, the whole deal with regards to just what's available out there. But this is an amazing
Good.
recruitment tool as well. So
I
yeah.
agree. I agree. I'm so glad you reached out. Again, I'm so sorry about your niece. Call me when you're back and we'll set up another time.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. All
Miss you.
right. Travel safe.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Okay. Bye.